Okay, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Brand New, and I'm back in the building. I'm gonna try to tackle this growing up hip hop. This is gonna be very brief because to me it wasn't really exciting, and I've been very busy, so that's why this shit is mad late. But let's just make it do what it do. Okay, so I'm gonna just briefly go over what I got from the episode. Okay, so first off, let's just get out of the way. Ms Deb, she ends up hearing Zonique's song and she likes it, and she agrees to help her out and she sees potential in her. So they put together an auditions for a publicist, maybe some background singers, and just people that can help out with Zonique's brand. So that's pretty much what they do. Brandon, he comes in, he kind of has an agenda because his mother fucked up his showcase. And by fucked it up, she took over his artist, which I didn't really agree with. So he pretty much had an agenda to kind of fuck up shit for Zonique. Zonique makes a statement saying, oh, well, I'm starting to see that Ms Deb and Brandon, they're kind of like the same person. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Zonique, shut the fuck up. I like her, you guys. Seems like a very pretty young lady. I like her better than Reginae, but she seems very naive. And Ms Deb is just the truth. Brandon is just the truth. And it's like she's accustomed to being lied to. She's accustomed to bullshit, and she don't like in-your-face type of people. She like to stab you in the back type people. Some people, they just gonna keep it real with you and be real. And I agree that Brandon was, kind of being disruptive, and he was doing it on purpose. But shit, you was laughing at his showcase, so that wasn't cool either. Okay, so that's pretty much what happened with that. And him and Ms Deb, Brandon and Ms Deb, they end up getting into it because there came in somebody, this guy, trying to compare Zonique to Aaliyah. And Ms Deb was like, hey, I don't like when people have preconceived notions like that. An artist should just be an artist. You're trying to make her into somebody that, we've already had. We don't need that. And Brandon is just like, well, let him state how he felt. He made a mistake. He didn't mean it like that. And that irritated Ms Deb. They go back and forth. And Ms Deb was motherfucking heated. So that's what happened with that. Okay, so then something else that stuck out there was in the beginning, Brandon had a conversation with his artist, and they were rehearsing for him, and he's all intense, he's all into it. That motherfucking Brandon, he is such a Cancer. He is just into it. His birthday is actually a couple of days after mine. I think on the 17th. Mine is July 15th. Anyways, he's listening to his artist, and they're like, well, what do you think Ms Deb is gonna think? Why the fuck did they say that? He went the fuck in. He was not here for the bullshit. He was just like, you know what? Why does it matter what Deb thinks? I'm who y'all should be worried about. I kind of feel like people are using me, to get close to her, and it's not cool. Y'all need to be worried about what I think. And I liked y'all because y'all was focused on being, the best that y'all could be. Y'all wasn't extra. Y'all wasn't on no dumb shit. So yeah, I was kind of with Brandon. Who cares what Ms Deb is going to think? Y'all are his artists, so y'all need to... It's almost like nobody takes Brandon seriously. And it could be his tone. He could tone it down a little bit, but at the end of the day, you guys, he's just being real, in my opinion. So, anyways, the whole thing with Bow Wow and his father. So, let's get to that. Ms Deb sees Bow Wow and, lets him know she wants him to get together with his father, don't hold on to the past. Bow Wow's like, that man is drunk, he don't really want to be in my life. Ms Deb was like, well, give him another chance, you got a daughter now, you want to end this cycle, all this bullshit. My thing is, stay out of people's relationships with their parents. Just because somebody is somebody's parent does not mean that you need to be around them. You know, sometimes we are born to people that are no good for us. They don't really give a fuck about us. And I don't know or believe this man really care about Bow Wow. He do look like an alcoholic. Like, he looks like he still is drinking. Because there's a scene with Ms Deb where, you know, this is after she didn't talk to Bow Wow. And she calls this man up. And it just seemed like he's drunk. And he's like saying weird stuff. At one point, I thought he was trying to get at Ms Deb. So the man is iffy. I wouldn't take a chance on him. Ms Deb kind of backpedaled a bit and was just like, oh my God, what the hell I done got into? I should have stayed out of this. Okay, so that's pretty much what happened with that. There was a scene with Ayana, Reginae, and Zanique. I guess they was just talking about everything, you know, still with Brandon. And I ain't got time for it because it's that stupid ass Reginae that thinks that she's right about everything. I don't like her, you guys. I'm a flat the fuck out say it. I do not like Reginae. She has a shitty ass attitude. And let me get into her ass real quick. Okay, so she proposes an idea to Toya, her mother, about writing a book together. And basically it's going to be about people that may not have the best relationships with their parents, kind of like the youth and the parent coming together. And it was a really good idea. And Toya felt like it was a good idea because, you know, her mother has been on drugs and is still on drugs. And she does feel that gap in their communication and in their relationship. And she felt like, you know what? Reginae is always presenting stuff to me, but this actually might be a good idea. This might be something that I really can help on. And Reginae approached Toya about it because Toya has her own publishing company. So that's the gist of that. So I think Toya pretty much gave her an ultimatum like, listen, you come up with your part, I'm going to come up with my part, and then we're going to meet together to see, you know, how this is going to work out. And Reginae expected Toya to just agree to it. That's how spoiled and fucked up in the head she is. Toya was like, no, I need to see that you putting in the effort into doing this. You know, I want to see that you really put in the time. And I agree with Toya because Reginae is a spoiled little bitch and she's used to having her way. But Toya, you created her like that. I could tell in y'all relationship you had her young, and I'm not here to judge you on that. But, you know, you need to you need to continue to be stern with her. Continue to hold your ground. So anyways, they end up going for a walk later on. They meet up, I believe it's another day. Reginae is kind of dressed and Toya going for a walk with her dog. So, you know, Reginae comes on along and Toya's just like, well, what have you been doing your part of the book? Well, no, I haven't gotten to it yet because this Reginae. I haven't gotten to it yet because, you know, it's my last semester of school and I really need to get this out of the way first. And, you know, and Toya was like, see, this is the shit that I be talking about. You're not even focused. You presented an idea to me and I told you to work on it and you told me that you would. And I don't like when you do this shit. I need you to get focused and do what you say you go do. You always do this shit. So Toya is irate. And then Reginae talking about some girl, you tripping. She said some shit, you guys. I forgot verbatim what she said, but she was getting smart. I would have smacked the shit out of her. Like she would be getting her ass up off that ground. Because yeah, you 18 or whatever the fuck how old you done turned, but bitch, you are being very disrespectful. Would have smacked the shit out of her. You know, she just has that mouth. And Toya thinks the shit is cute until it's against her. You know, it was all fun and games when this bitch was going up against Brandon and all these other people. It was cute then and you was trying to defend her, but now she's being disrespectful to you and now you don't like it. Karma's a bitch. So anyways, she getting smart with Toya. Toya walking on, you know, leaving Reginae behind. Reginae, well, I'm going to come out with my own book. I don't need you to be a part of it. Like that right there. I would have turned around and I would have had that bitch in a headlock. We on our way to the motherfucking house. I wouldn't, you know. I would have, I don't know. And Toya probably would have been like, oh, well, you know, she wouldn't have did that on camera, you know, and I understand all of that. But I would have pulled that bitch in that house and we would have had a conversation. Because that is your mother and you being very disrespectful. You know, it's very disrespectful to come at your mother that does so much for you, that loves you. Now, if the bitch didn't love you like that, that's different. But, you know, she loves you. She sticks up for you, even when you're wrong. And you go be disrespectful, Reginae. She's selfish. She's bratty. She disgusted me this episode. Zonique is not like her yet, you know. And it look like Tiny ain't having that shit. Anyways, because I saw a scene with them and Tiny was, you know, kind of getting into her ass. But Toya ain't here for the shit either. But Toya, you need to stay on her ass because she thinks she can get away with saying and doing whatever. And I didn't like that shit. Don't present an idea to somebody and you know motherfucking well you not willing to do your motherfucking part. You think the shit is funny and you getting smart and shit. So that's how it ended, you guys. Toya walked on and Reginae went her way. But yeah, wouldn't have been my child. You not go. And I would have really raised my voice. I wouldn't have hit her, not on no camera, but I would have got in her motherfucking face and said, who are you talking to? Who is you talking to? I'm your mother, so you watch it. Because these kids, they try to get smart, y'all. And I'm not here with the shit. I don't care how old you are. Have some fucking respect. Especially for a parent that actually loved your ass. Shit, oh, ungrateful hussy. Anyways, that damn Reginae, honey, done took me out of character. Okay, so then the next part that they show is Bow Wow's dad coming in, and I guess that's going to be the new episode that comes on tonight. And Bow Wow's not happy to see him. He had been, you know, just, you could tell he's nervous. He's worried about it. I don't feel like this should have been on the show because Bow Wow has so much of a story. He don't need this to be a part of his storyline. If you ever choose to walk away from any of your parents because they are negative, they're on drugs, they're alcoholics, or they have a chemical imbalance, you know, that's your prerogative. You know, we don't need to force people to have something to do with their parents if their parents are negative to them. You know, every situation is different. And I get some people may say, well, you need to forgive and that's your dad and he make mistakes. Yeah, but it don't seem like Bow Wow's dad is really, it don't seem like he's sorry. It's just like he's just popping up. And it don't seem like he's let that bottle go. His behavior is irrational. It's just kind of iffy to me. So that's pretty much what happened with that, y'all. And it's your girl, Brand New. And I will check y'all later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all.